Now you mentioned part of your class is Teofimo Lopez, and he has allegedly a fight scheduled with Lomachenko for the whole gambit, the whole unification, undisputed route. Um, how do you see that fight going? Just curious, seeing that you're a boxing guy.
I see this one. That's gonna be fireworks. I think it's gonna be fireworks. It's definitely gonna be an action-packed fight. I'm giving edge to Teofimo. I want Teofimo to win anyway. So I'm giving edge to Teofimo. He's younger, got power, more excited. Don't get me wrong, Lomachenko's a beast though. Don't get me wrong, he's definitely a pound fighter. But I just feel like it's a new era coming around. It's a new group of fighters coming around. It's a younger group, and we coming to show how talented we are against anybody. And if Lomachenko's in the way, then hey, it's Lomachenko.
And there's going to be some boxing purists is going to go look and say, look, Lomachenko has accomplished all these things. He's fought these type of guys. Is it, for those fans, is it absurd to think that Teofimo Lopez has a chance, against a guy who's allegedly one of the best amateur fighters or on record, out there, and turned professional and captured titles, pretty fast in his professional career? Is it absurd to think that? And why?
No, it's not absurd. Because Teofimo, he's captured the title at real fast to me, faster than a lot of other world champions who got world title shots at 18 and 20 fights. He only had 12 or 13 fights.
I think 14, 15.
I think he did it pretty fast himself. He's done well in amateurs. He might not have all the gold medals and whatnot, but I think he's done pretty well in amateurs for himself. He was an Olympian. He was a standout amateur. Just because he doesn't have his accolades as much higher, like you said, I feel like the country that Lomachenko's from, they stay in the amateur longer. So maybe if Teofimo would have did that, he could have did the same thing. You never really know. So plus, you gotta look at what Teofimo's doing. He's not just winning them fights by unanimous decision. He's actually giving exciting fights, knocking guys out, doing what he do, dominating guys.
Yep.
So you really can't count Teofimo out. It's not crazy to think Teofimo has a chance. If Lomachenko really thinks Teofimo doesn't have a chance, he's in for a rude awakening. He need to really take him as a serious threat, because that's what he is. He's a real serious threat.
And I heard a lot of people mentioning the fact that Teofimo may have to knock him out early, but if he doesn't, then Lomachenko has the edge over the course of time. Is there any truth in that Teo has to knock him out fast?
People are saying that because they never really see Teofimo go the distance with anybody who was really at the top level. So you really can't. They really don't know what Teofimo has going the distance, except against that one time when he fought Nakatani or something like that. That's a whole different type of style of fighter, a whole different type of fighter. So you really can't compare him to Lomachenko. So styles make fights, and you just gotta wait. You gotta wait and see what Teofimo brings. They don't know what Teofimo got in his vein because they never really seen it before. This is gonna be like one of his first real chances to show himself and show what he got.
And seeing that you fight at 154, and you're a big guy in comparison to a lot of these other guys. What do you think about the 135 division as like a fan? Watching with the Ryan Garcias and the Devin Haney's and all the back and forth on social media. How do you perceive that division in its whole? I think Tank's in that division as well.
I think that's exciting, man. I think it's exciting. You've seen a lot of young guys want to fight each other. So that's bringing back the best versus best boxing. It's bringing back a lot of attention to the sport. Those guys doing what they're doing. And they're not like they're not good fighters. They're actually good fighters. So you really can't say like they're just talking to be able to fight. No, I feel like they're really good fighters, and they really back it up, and they really want to fight each other. So I love it. I love watching. I love seeing it. I think 135 division is one of the best divisions in boxing right now.
Did you ever get to see any of the amateur fights, like some of those guys face each other in the amateurs? And
no, I never seen any of them guys fight as an amateurs. Probably because I was probably about to fight too at the same time, or later during the tournament. But I never really got to really see it.
Seeing when I look at 154, the 154 division it's like a scary crop of guys, and it's just like you included in there, like you just don't know what you're going to get. Everyone has an amazing group of tools, and there's former Olympians and champions back and forth. Do you see any kind of like rivalries in that division or just adversaries? Like, because it seems 135 is very vocal, but 154, it's like, it's just we do the fighting in the ring kind of sense. So
Yeah.
the fans don't really see the rivalries. But do you see yourself having some rivalries amongst some of these guys? And just curious.
To be honest, I don't really see any with like the young guys in the 154 division, but the older guys for sure, like the champions now.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of like with the Charlo and the Tony thing, and then the Jared Hurd with the Charlo thing, and just like the whole little mix up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's rivalries up there, but like as far as the young guys coming up in that division, I don't think it's really any rivalries yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when division gets. When those guys go away and the division gets refreshed with newer fighters, maybe so. But as of right now, not with no young newer fighters, I don't think so.
And potentially some going up to 160, or maybe later you go to 160. Who do you think is the best fighter at 160? In a sense, I guess we can put Canelo in there too.
I was about to say we can say Canelo. I'm gonna go with Canelo.
Okay.
I like Canelo a lot.
Who would you put number 2 then? Seeing that many people put Canelo as the pound for pound.
A lot of people say Triple G, but I really want to say I say Charlo. I really want Charlo. I really want Charlo to be number 2. I really want Charlo to get some of those big fights. So I'm gonna say Charlo.
What do you think about Demetrius? A lot of people have been tying those two guys together and want to face each other. How do you think a Charlo Demetrius fight, or a Charlo, maybe Triple G fight? How do you think Charlo fares in that?
I think Charlo holds on in those fights. If not holds on, he for sure wins one of those fights for sure.
Mm-hmm.
None of the fights will be easy, but for sure he'll win. For sure, I think Triple G's getting aged a little bit, and it's starting to be like the back end of Triple G's career. So, and then Boo Boo. I think Boo Boo have like some good performances, and then he'll have like some bad performances. I'm not gonna say bad, but some not so good performances that he would like to have, and I think that's what people would want. Like, he's not consistently good, but that doesn't really mean nothing, because people he's fighting not trash. They're top level athletes, so you really got to consider that too. But I think because he's not as consistent as the other fighters, that he gets a lot of flack. But he's a world champion. He fights good fighters, so I can't really say too much.
And you mentioned Triple G is kind of on the back end of his career. Does that mean if Canelo and him face each other, that you're probably picking Canelo? I'm assuming.
I thought Canelo won the first 2 fights. That's a real people think that's a real controversial situation discussion too. But I think Canelo won the first 2 fights anyway.
Do you pick Canelo also to face win against Billy Joe Sanders if he played or faced him?
Yeah, I think Canelo wins against Billy Joe Sanders. It'll be a tough fight because Billy Joe Sanders is a mover and he's southpaw. So I think those type of fighters give Canelo a little more problems, but for sure it'll still be a good fight though. But I get the edge to Canelo.
And I guess maybe the last one is Canelo versus Charlo. I know you mentioned Canelo's the best, in that division, but styles make fights. Do you have Canelo winning that fight as well, or are you unsure?
I have Canelo winning that fight, but it'll be a good fight though. It'll for sure be a good competitive fight. It'll definitely be a competitive fight.
Now, with all these like fights that could be made, or the trilogies, they're being made. There's one bigger than this weight class, or bigger than all of us, the giants, the heavyweights. Did you ever watch that Wilder Fury? I'm sure you did, the rematch.
Yeah, I watched that fight.
What was your overall reaction towards the Fury Wilder fight rematch? Did you expect that?
I was rooting for Deontay Wilder. I wanted Deontay Wilder to win, but that was like a big shock to me. That was a real surprise. I would never expected that.
And just seeing how that fight played out, do you think there could be a difference in the trilogy if they fought for a third time?
Yeah, for sure. I think you can. I don't know. I kind of think something was wrong with Deontay Wilder. I want to say that, but then again, I really don't know. I really don't know, but I kind of do, because I feel like he had real bad balance in that fight. I don't know something. I feel like something was wrong with him, but yeah, he just got to go back to his coaches, readjust, work on a new game plan, and he can definitely switch the outcome of the fight. Sure.
You know, and not to put you in the mix of the whole online debates, but you know, there seems to be obviously some sort of controversy of if there was validity in the equipment. Is there any, you know, sense that the whatever case could be that it's valid?
I really don't think so. I think that was like a super big fight, and I think they made sure all the protocols was met with the gloves, the hand wraps, everything, the cup, the clothes, and everything. I really think they made sure all the qualifications were met. No glove issue, no. I think that it was just a bad night for Deontay Wilder.
Mm. Do you think Joshua could beat either one of those guys between Fury and Wilder? I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't really think so. I don't think so.
Why is that?
I just feel like those guys are. I just feel like Deontay Wilder's got that one punch power that will put Joshua down, and I think Tyson Fury is like a real one of the slickest heavyweights on his toes, and how his last performance was, he was coming forward. So I really think that Tyson Fury is like the best all around fighter in the heavyweight division.
So would you rank Fury number 1 and Wilder 2 and Joshua 3? Just to make.
Yeah, I think so. If they actually fought, yeah. But like ranking right now, it'd probably be Tyson 1, Joshua 2, Deontay Wilder 3. But in actual fights, I think Tyson 1, Deontay Wilder 2, and Joshua 3.
Now, seeing that, you know, you're a boxer, but also, you know, a fan of boxing, it'd be cool if like you were like some sort of like matchmaker, promoter, and if that was the case, what fights would you make? You know, if you had the options, the ability to get everyone together.
Man, I would make like all the super fights. I would make, like you said, I would make Joshua Fury, because that's a real big fight in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I would make
big money fight.
I would make Beterbiev versus Bivol.
Ooh, let's touch on that.
I would make the good fights, man. I would make who at 168 though. I would make Caleb Smith or Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo. I would make Triple G versus Charlo. The other Charlo versus Jason Rosario or Jared Hurd. Still two good fights. I'll make the Crawford versus Spence fight. The Ramirez versus Taylor fight. I'll make like you said, the Lomachenko versus Lopez, or I'll make the Devin Haney versus Garcia. Those two young talented fighters. Then I'll make the 130. Who's at 130?
We got the Leo Santa Cruz, Miguel Burchell, Jojo Diaz. Man, you good at your boxing, man. You just ran down off the top of your head, like boom, 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 division wise. We got Jamel Herring, Joseph Diaz, Chris Colbert, Santa Cruz, Oscar Valdez, Burchell.
I'll make Leo Santa Cruz versus.
What about the Gary Russell? You know, Gary Russell, Leo?
Yeah, Gary Russell, Leo, but ain't Gary Russell 126?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were both 126, you know?
I'll make that one then. Then I would love to make I want to make my way Shakur go against Joshua. I see you want that real bad. Then I have to make who's that? Is it anyway? Is he 122?
He's a 118.
Oh, okay. So I'll make.
But you can probably go to 122. Like, I mean, this guy's jumping up in weight one after another.
I'll make Emmanuel Navarrete versus who's those?
You know, there's Ray Vargas is in that weight class. There's MJ who just fought Danny Roman.
He's good. I'll probably make somebody else too.
Oh, what about Rigo versus Inoue? Would you be interested in setting that one up?
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say that one day.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your juice.
I was definitely gonna say that one day. Yeah, I would like to see that. I think Inoue I'll beat him though. I think Rigondeaux is kind of getting age.
How do you think that fight? Like, because you got like I don't know, stylistically, it's just so much going on between those two guys. Like, how can you break that fight down if they got in the ring together?
I think
It's too strong.
I think he's real strong. I think that fight would be competitive at first, and I think he will definitely get there like towards the middle round.
And just curious, man, because like you have an extensive knowledge of boxing. Like sometimes I talk to some boxing fans, or not boxing fans, boxers, and it's nothing wrong. They kind of just focus on their career and focus on their weight class and things like that. But you seem to know your boxing very well, up and down and all the weight classes. Do you have like a pound for pound list? Just curious, just a personal one.
Uh, I can tell you this. I think the pound for pound, number one pound for pound is Canelo. For sure. I think number one pound for pound Canelo.
When you see lists that don't put Canelo number one or even number two, do you kind of, and they make their points, like, Crawford, Lomachenko, like they're all good points and not, but
sure.
just seeing you put Canelo number one, I've seen some lists that had him maybe 4 or 5. Is that, when you see that, is it absurd seeing that you have him so high?
Yeah, I feel like he's one of the people who dominated like a lot of divisions, and he's still boxing today, and he's still going up and down weight classes. So I feel like for sure he's number one. He never unified like a whole weight class, but I feel like he's been up and down a lot of weight classes and competed a lot of weight classes and dominated. So I feel like he's number one off the pound.
And I think in your gym when I was there was that Canelo versus Hagler debate, and I think you were stronghold on Canelo. Do you feel Canelo would beat Hagler, or you're unsure? I know this is a fantasy fight, obviously.
I'm just so for the new school fighters. I'm the new school fighter myself, so I'm just so for new school fighters. I always go for new school.
You just represent, man. That's all you're doing, represent your blood, your team, your generation. I love it. How would you place number 2 and 3 on your list?
Definitely Charles Conwell and Lomachenko, because they're like the second. They're like the second. They're like really tied for real to me. I feel like they're really tied. But I feel like Terence Crawford has actually done a lot too, though. I'm not gonna lie. He's really he's done a lot too, and Lomachenko definitely done a lot. But I'll give it to Terence Crawford. I feel like he's had more fights. He's been around the block a lot more times than Lomachenko.
How do you think a Crawford Spence fight would go down? Seeing that you're an Olympian, you represent your U.S. squad. But then you got Terence Crawford, number 2 on your pound for pound list, or 3, or interchangeable. Like, how does that fight break down?
That'll be a great fight. I really can't call that fight. I really can't call that fight. I hope West Man win. I hope it not no one shot type of win and something like that. I would want them to go like all the majority of the fight or the whole distance of the fight, so we can really get okay, we know who's actually really better.
Versus like a one shot and you're not saying a lucky shot, but it didn't really. I totally understand that perspective. Now, throughout this whole time, while you're just kind of gearing up for your next fight and you're training home and things like that, what do you want to, I guess, maybe tell some of the fans out there, any messages and things to let them know, what you're up to and how you're handling what they should know about the situation?
I'm looking to get back in the ring as soon as the coronavirus is over, the little pandemic is over. I'm looking to get back into the ring, making my way back to television, making more big fights, more statements, and just continuing on the path of greatness and just pushing myself and just on the road to being a world champion, to be honest, and just wanting to broadcast my skills across the world so I can be known as one of the great fighters to ever box or throw on the pair of gloves. But I'm going to continue to chase that legacy, continue to win, and continue to work hard to get to where I need to be.
And then, for the social media, or maybe the gamer tag, if they want to roll up on you on Fortnite or Warzone, or see who killed them and go, oh man, that's Conwell, man, that just killed me, man. Where can they follow you and on your social media and everything?
All my social media is at Charles Conwell. No spaces, no underscores, and my game attack is Bad News. Bad News 154. So you know it's me by my name. You know, I got my little tag right next to it.
You want that smoke? So definitely appreciate the time, champ, and look forward to seeing the rest of your career and your next fight play out.